Good evening. Bill Taylor here in the Ken's 5 Digital Center. Let me, you don't want to see the Ponce. The Fiesta Ponce. All right, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued now, extending past 7 p.m. So let's get in here closer and show you that the new warning, you can see that polygon extends into eastern Bexar County. As I expected, that this storm would definitely extend this warning past 7 p.m. because it was mostly western Bexar County under this warning until 7, and now it's moving into downtown. So I really hope everyone at Fiesta, as well as even the Fiesta Carnival, has taken cover. This is a lot of lightning, a lot of dangerous lightning. Now, as far as hail's concerned, I know a lot of you are concerned with hail, so let's get to it. We've got significant size hail. Look at this. Right on 151, this is far west San Antonio, and that hail core indicating that's tennis ball size hail at 1604 and 151. So far west San Antonio, and that is a major hail core. That is very impressive, right over 1604, and again, 151. And now, Jesse, you'll have to definitely tell me what to do here on texts. So I'm talking to my director back in the booth so that we can get up on Ken's 5. I would get up on Ken's 5 now. The sooner the better, actually. Let's not wait till 7. We were planning on 7 o'clock, but now seeing this hail core, we need to definitely get on sooner than later, my friend. Okay, because the IFB is just too staticky. It's way too staticky. All right, so first things first, let's get the newest coordinates in on this, and the parameters are this. 2-inch size hail is what they're estimating. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, progress east at 30. So if we just track the hail core, and that's what we're going to do first here. I've got to put in 30 miles per hour on these properties before we can do that, so it's moving at the right pace. And now we're going to draw this just south of Helotes, leading edge of the hail core, and it's moving east at 30. So these are the communities that you're going to see in this box that definitely need to get cover on whatever vehicle you don't want to see damage on, because it's definitely going to be sizable hail moving in your direction. Leon Valley in the next few minutes. Wolf Stadium 652. So that 151 corridor right there at 1604, Highway 90. Okay. So let's see, we're up in 5 seconds. Great. Okay. And so you can see it's moving due east at 15 miles per hour, moves into downtown at 704, Alamo Dome at 706. So I'm going to keep this up for just a moment so that we can show the viewers. Good evening. Welcome into the Ken's 5 Digital Center. Bill Taylor here live on Facebook and Ken's 5, and we're looking at the hail core of this monster thunderstorm that is covering most of Bexar County, at least the northern 2/3 of the county, from downtown all the way up. You can get an appreciation of it and the size encompassing most of that polygon. This is the new warning that's been issued, and that's going to be up until, let's see, 7:30. Yeah, until 7:30 probably. So anyway, you can see that it's going through the Alamo Dome at 706, Kirby 715. So right now in the next couple of minutes, it's Leon Valley and Wolf Stadium. So west side, far west side, 151, 1604 area, and then just inside 1604, once you start getting closer to Leon Valley, Converse by 724, Cibolo 738. I mean, it looks like we deal with this thunderstorm in Bexar County till 8 p.m. I'm just going to round it up until 8 p.m. on how long we deal with this thunderstorm through Bexar County. Now this again in effect until 7:45, not 7:30, 7:45. Now let's get back to the radar and you can see just what kind of area this encompasses. I mean, it's just only leaving behind extreme southern Bexar County, but as it's moving, you can see a little bit of a jog to the south. So it's going to start growing in that direction. I don't think it's going to leave out South Bexar County much, much longer and cover just about the entire county. Tremendous amount of dangerous lightning, but if I take the lightning off, just to give you an idea of the rainfall rates, whenever you see that purple, that's approaching probably 3 to 4 inches per hour rainfall rates, just blinding rain that zeroes in on visibility. So let's go in here and see what kind of rain rate right in here. Okay, that's where there's hail. So whenever you see the precipitation rate, remember we're calculating this based upon the algorithms, And whenever the precipitation rate goes to like 14 inches per hour, I just hit the hail core, because it'll always have trouble estimating it when there's ice. And so that's what's happening now. There's definitely some ice, and that's going to be the hail. And we're looking at tennis ball size hail in some cases here. So please make sure that anyone anywhere in San Antonio, especially downtown, you have some time right now. Even though it's raining, you've got time to cover your vehicles, get them under something. You know, some of the best spots are car drive-throughs. If somebody's on the road, you want to get out and get under drive-throughs at banks. Those are closed right now. Those are good spots to just hang out for a few minutes. I remember my wife did that when the 2016 hailstorm hit. We had softball size hail. If we slice this, I want to give you an idea of what it looks like if we do a 3D slice on this guy and what kind of height we're dealing with. We're pushing 60,000 feet. So when you look at 60,000 feet and tapping into that colder air, that's definitely going to be larger hailstones. Remember, each trip that the hailstone makes inside that thunderstorm is what determines its size. So the tremendous amount of updraft that's being delivered into this, the inflow, is what's going to be getting all of that hailstone up, and then when it's on its descent, it gets picked up in that strong updraft. That updraft can be going 100, 120 miles per hour. Take it back to the top of that storm, it collects more ice and grows larger. That's why hailstones are sometimes in rings. You can see them if they're translucent enough. Sometimes they're really white, and that's indicating some drier air that's in there. If there's no white, that's going to be wetter hailstones, and that just means there's more water inside of it than there is dry air. From this perspective, you can also see the flash flood advisory. So we do have one as well for Bexar County. We have a flash flood advisory, aerial flood advisory for Bexar County. Let me read you what has come in until 9:30 p.m. Minor flooding in low-lying areas and poor drainage areas. So that's going to mean the usual suspects on flooding. We're going at least 1 inch to 3 inches over this area over the next 30 to 45 minutes, okay? So just keep that in mind, that again, an aerial flood advisory for Bexar County, as well as the severe thunderstorm warning until 7:30. I want to flatten this view for you. All right, and just put this back in motion over the last, let's just go 1 hour. So it's moving east, but growing south. Now notice again, beyond this, once we get this through, we're good. We're going to be dry for a while until the cold front moves in. This is an outflow boundary out well ahead of the cold front. The cold front's still up in the hill country, and we're expecting that to be dropping in later tonight. The good news is, with this kind of thunderstorm activity, the atmosphere usually gets zapped of a lot of energy, and so when the cold front comes in later, we shouldn't see this kind of intensity. That's why the severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 10 p.m., because we're expecting the conditions to lessen as far as being favorable for severe development by later tonight. And that's because, again, when these thunderstorms come into this atmosphere and just really zap it of most of that energy, there's not much left for that front to work with. The dew point going in, the sunshine we had this afternoon, you know, all that high humidity and then that heating of the atmosphere, we broke that cap. That cap eroded, and that's why we were able to develop this kind of thunderstorm. And remember, that inflow, this is like a living, breathing organism. That inflow of updraft is like the big inhale, and then the outflow, that downdraft. That's why it got cold. When we hit Alana Sarabia live at 6 p.m., she came up live at about 6:14, because I was in touch with them and telling them, look, get this live shot done in 30 seconds and get out of there. And she was telling us that the temperature really dropped. And that's what's happening in like Lavernia right now, Seguin. You're all getting cooler temperatures because of that outflow wind, that exhale of the thunderstorm that's going to be traveling miles out ahead. And that's when the temperature starts to drop. That's usually one of nature's ways of saying, here I come with my fury. And that lightning, again, this is all creating, when you see a good cluster of lightning like this, that's all indicating a tremendous amount of updraft and building thunderstorms, and it'll create more lightning. So whenever we see these clusters that don't let up, that's definitely an indication that the storm is still building and we could be seeing hail increasing. So let's go back to that hail tracker and show you what we've got on hail size. Hail size a moment ago was estimated at tennis ball size. You can see the color scale, upper left-hand corner of your screen, and it's still there. Tennis ball size. We're going to get in here real tight and just see what kind of streets we're dealing with here. So there's 151. We can get in even tighter And you can see the wolf is down to the south of this hail core. So this hail core is going right over, let's see, we've got North Ellison, there's Petranco. Let's see, this is right there. So this is Petranco right here. And this is Ellison over here. And that's where the hail is crossing over, 151. And you can see here's 410. There's loop 410 on the right side of your screen. There's Ingram Road right there. And this purple, and you can look at it on the scale. This is tennis ball size, estimating on radar, So let me just, at least when we put radar back up, give you an idea of what hail size we're talking about, and check the National Weather Service chat on what kind of reports we're getting in as well. Gillespie County and Llano County's warning has been canceled. Pea-size hail at Whitetail and Silvertip, northwest San Antonio. So pea-size, not much to worry about, but again, our radar hail tracker indicating tennis ball size hail could be the possibility over 151 as we speak right now, but not getting any confirmations on that size. Quarter size hail at Longhorn Cavern, that's Burnett County. SeaWorld, half-inch size hailstones reported there. That's going to be west, 1604, 151, pretty close to where we're talking about. So at least we've got a confirmation that it's a little smaller than tennis ball size, but the radar is going to be using the rainfall rate to estimate exactly what size it thinks that storm is moving. So let's do this. We've got it at 15. Let's just double check on what the latest speed is on this storm moving east. Last time it was 15 miles per hour. Now it's picked up a lot of speed. See, this is why we have to continue. We're estimating 25 to 30 mile per hour speed now to the east. So once we go into here, we got to change the properties to 30 miles per hour. That's done there, and now we're ready to rock and roll. So we'll stop this on a current, and let's get right in here with the core of it, or the leading edge, not really where the core is, and moving east at 30. These are the communities and areas that can protect vehicles now. AT&T Center, 656. Schertz, it's hitting you at 715. New Braunfels at 734. Seguin, so it's moving out of the county by 745, hopefully. Seguin, 752, so you have some time to prepare, obviously. Redwood, 804. Martindale, 815. Luling, 831. That's where Buc-ee's is, along I-10. All right, so let's lose this, and I want to track just the hail core. So let's go back to the hail tracker. Wait, before we do that, let's save this image. Go back to the hail core, and just track this, east at 30. And I'll put it right on the heart of the hail core, and move this east at 30. Now this is the real time. I'm preparing for some damaging hail. Wolf, 658. So the next few minutes, if you're anywhere near Wolf Stadium. Balcones Heights, you have until 7:05. Downtown, 7:10. Even though the rain is intense and there's a lot of lightning, this is when the hail's going to hit. Kirby, 7:24. Windcrest, 7:27. Converse, 7:35. St. Hedwig, 7:46. Zool, 7:51. Zool, technically in Guadalupe County. St. Hedwig, one of the last communities before you reach really Wilson County. It's that little tri-county spot of Wilson, Guadalupe, and Bear is where St. Hedwig is. So you can see it going right through the heart of downtown, this large hail. You know, hailstorms, it's all location, location, location. Where we see the largest hailstones, where we expect to see the most impact is where these storms occur. 2016, the swath went right through northwest Bexar County. So that's why it was a $1.7 billion event, most expensive in Texas history. This one, obviously, it's just one cell, and it's one good hail core. And we can even slice this and give you an idea on the height here. Won't let me slice that? Oh, I guess it won't let me slice that. All right, no problem. Whoa, what's happening? Don't worry about it. All right, let's go back to radar. So back building. Look what's happening in Medina County. So this storm that's south of Hondo, heading into Divine, So that storm was definitely one that we watched early, developed just west of Uvalde. It was actually just south of Bracketville, started producing hail early, went through Uvalde, and then moved right down Highway 90 and has weakened tremendously before it's going to reach Devine. It's definitely going to be some very heavy rain, but we're not looking at too much in the form of dangerous hail. Checking with my, yes, absolutely, good. Let's stay on Ken's 5 for a little bit longer, as well as Facebook. I wish I could take some of your comments and questions, but George West, you're going to stay too far south. You're too far south for a lot of this until maybe tomorrow, maybe late tonight. So 2 active warnings, 1 until 7 p.m., and we should see that one reconfigured in just a couple of minutes. And then the larger polygon that you see stretching into Comal as well as just into Wilson County is until 7:45. And that's the warning that's covering most of San Antonio. Tremendous amount of lightning. Aerial flood advisory, because of the amount of rain falling, we've got this until 9:30. So that's going to be from downtown across northwest Bexar County. So that's going to cover Helotes. It's going to cover Leon Valley. It's going to go right up the I-10 corridor towards Bernie. Fair Oaks, you're just about in this as well. Bernie is not in the aerial flood advisory. And you can see it also picks up over Bandera and Medina Lake, just north of the lake. Maybe Lake Hills is part of that. Pipe Creek is part of that. It's going to be that other aerial flood advisory you see on the left side of your screen. That's in effect. Let's see how long that one is. If it'll give it to us here, 9:15. So this is out ahead of the cold front. This was an outflow that is kicking up what we saw develop, as I mentioned, just through the afternoon heating and a good amount of moisture in place, and just fires up this good thunderstorm. In fact, you can even see them kind of congealing, if you will, from Bandera east, and then just really developing. Ton of moisture available once it gets into that I-10 corridor, and as it starts moving farther east, it's definitely going to have plenty of moisture to work with. We've had the dew points upwards of 70 most of the afternoon. You saw the sunshine we had this afternoon as well, and that never does much good when you're heading into this kind of a situation. Again, blanketing the city with a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30. Please make sure you are staying put. Wherever you are, just stay put where you are, because the most important thing is to stay safe. CPS power outages. Let's take a look. You can see on the scale right here, we've got a number of outages in the northwest portion of the county right now. So this is a live CPS map you're looking at in order to get an idea of where we have the most outages. It's going to be right across areas where you're seeing the most lightning, and that's going to be the case. Even into the 281 corridor, I can see a handful of outages there. But those two are indicating at least, oh, there's a new one. So you've got several thousand without power now across those areas for sure. So kind of again, a wait and see with this. Emergency alert for the flash flood warning until 10 p.m. Flash flood warning until 10 p.m. All right, so again, covering most of the county, flash flood warning now in effect until 10 p.m. Let me give you the specifics on this. That's the severe thunderstorm warning. Flash flood warning in effect until 10 p.m. Heavy rains across the area, indicating 1 to 2 inches have already fallen. An additional 1 to 3 are going to continue in the warning area. This is a life-threatening flash flooding situation. So the water rising fast because these rainfall rates are upwards of 4 inches per hour. Locations, San Antonio, of course, downtown, but all the way east to Live Oak. We've got the International Airport, Stinson Municipal Airport, Leon Valley, Helotes, Fair Oaks Ranch, Kirby, Alamo Heights, Windcrest, Terrell Hills, Bulverde, Chavano Park, Hollywood Park, Cross Mountain, Olmos Park, China Grove, Lackland Air Force Base, SeaWorld, as well as the Dominion. So a lot of that tells you that It's just about everywhere across the north side. I mean, once you get down to, say, Von Army, Elmendorf, Calaveras Lake, I mean, it's going to be some rain, but you're not experiencing the flood threat that we're seeing across most of the city right now, and especially in the downtown area. I mean, you've got to stay off the roads. This is going to last at least another half hour. I'm watching as I see lightning decreasing a little bit is a good sign. In those last few images, lightning decreasing enough to where we're expecting some of this, I hope, to begin weakening as it moves east. But it's definitely not going to be soon. I mean, this is going to cross the 281 corridor, move east at right now 25 miles per hour. So it really picked up some speed, which is a good thing. It slowed down to about 15 miles per hour, and that's why we're seeing the flooding that we're seeing across most of downtown. Remember to turn around, don't drown. When any flooded roads are in front of you, turn around and find another way. Wait it out where you are. It is never worth the risk of trying to drive through a covered roadway. Remember that 80% of flood-related deaths happen behind the wheel of a car or a vehicle. And it doesn't matter what you're driving. It can be a Hummer, it can be a Volkswagen Beetle. All water has to be doing is moving at about 2 miles per hour. And if it's high enough, it'll take that car off the road, take that vehicle off the road. So please, just stay where you are until this passes east. Again, this cluster is right on top of the city and moving at about 20 to 25 miles per hour eastbound. Should not clip much of South Bexar County. Oh, we're up to 35, thank you, David, 35,000 without power now. We were just showing you the CPS power outage. And you can see the radar's on there as well, so it's in direct correlation with where the heaviest rain is and all of the lightning as well. Wow, thank you, David. 35,000 customers without power. That's why this Facebook Live becomes very important. As we stay on Ken's 5, it's also important, but is, again, a great tool, Facebook is, and social media when we're in a situation like this. So it's interesting to see that the flash flood warning mirrors, just about mirroring the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 7:45. That's affecting 1.5 million people, good portion of San Antonio, as well as almost the exact same, leaving out just that one little strip of about 100,000 people across eastern Bexar County. Let's go ahead and track this now east as we get this image here. Moving at 20 miles per hour. So let me make sure we drop that speed, because it was 30 miles per hour in the last update, so it's actually slowing down a little bit. All right, east now at 20. Universal City 724. Church 728. New Braunfels at 802. Seguin at 823. Redwood at 849. Kingsbury at 851. Luling 926 as it goes down the I-10 corridor. So this severe thunderstorm is the one, because once this moves through, we get a break. And we should stay quiet until the front drops through later tonight. In fact, you can already see some of the, look at this, look north of Austin. Severe thunderstorm warnings extend all the way east to Bryan. Is that a tornado warning? Yeah, tornado warning in Milam and Robertson, not too far from Bryan and College Station. So any loved ones in the Bryan College Station area, tornado warning. This is well north of San Antonio, but getting a little rotation in some of these storms, which is not typical. I mean, the indications were that the environment was just not conducive with enough wind shear and enough of what we call helicity to produce a tornadic environment. So that's why the severe thunderstorm watch was issued early, but not a tornado watch. So pea-sized hail being reported in Sonoma Ranch. Thank you, Jesse. Pea-sized hail reported in Sonoma Ranch, but look at the amount of lightning. If I take the lightning off, and you can see some of these higher rainfall rates. Now you see that purple. if I query that, 13.5 or a quarter inches, or a third technically, per hour, which indicates that's where the hail is, because 13 inches per hour means that the algorithm's having trouble because it's what it's picking up is hail. Okay, that's what that means. Speaking of the hail, we can go to the hail core and see what we're looking like here. All right, that's a good sign. Hail size dropping. So what I was talking about with a little bit of less lightning, indicating that the storm could be weakening a little bit. But what can also happen, remember that this is what also can happen, is what we call pulsing. When the storms, they build and then they quiet down a bit. You know, they build and then they quiet down a bit. So that's a pulsing situation, which is very common in severe thunderstorms. And if that's occurring, then we're on the pulse down side of this, and it could be pulsing up very soon. So that's something that we have to keep in mind as well, that's a very, very common thing to see with thunderstorms, that they go through these cycles. Again, because I always look at them as, again, those living, breathing organisms that are taking in a big inhale of inflow of warm, moist air, a huge updraft, and then that downdraft. You know, miles out from the actual cell, temperatures will be dropping first, and it almost becomes like a little mini front, and it can pop thunderstorms out ahead of the main core of the thunderstorm. And speaking of main cores, what we're looking at right here is the hail tracker, indicating that we're not looking at too much in the way of growing hail size. Just a moment ago, if you've been watching, we had it upwards of tennis ball size hail. And right now, moving into downtown, nickel to quarter size, so that's a good sign. Back to the live radar, and you can see what we've got here with this warning in effect. Warning in effect till 7:45, and the aerial flood advisory till 10 p.m. because this water, we're going to deal with this through the 10 o'clock hour. And then once we get to 10, we could be raining on top of it even more. That's the worst part about it, because we definitely have some, indications that we're going to be seeing some very, very heavy rain when the cold front comes in. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. The cold front is still well to the north, dropping into the Texas Hill Country now. And you can see it's not very cold air behind it, but the point is that it's a surface trigger, and we've got the dry line out to the west. So it's a perfect setup that as the front drops closer, we're going to see another line develop. And you can see that those will mostly be northeast as far as the dangerous storms. But since we're getting a good cluster of storms now, the atmosphere should be weakened enough that the storms that develop later tonight as the front pushes through won't be severe. That they should at least be heavy rain, but not as strong as what we're looking at now. Again, good news that we're starting to see this thing shrink a little bit, seeing less lightning, still a tremendous amount, but a lot less than what we saw over Medina and Bandera counties and even West Bexar County. So as it's moving into downtown, it is weakening. And we saw the hail size definitely indicating that. But as I just explained, it could be pulsing down a bit and getting ready to fire back up when we start seeing it move a little bit farther to the east. I'm just going to readjust this stool for a moment. Pardon me. And this is right on par with what we were looking at on the Severe Prediction Center, a 2 out of 5 risk of seeing these kind of storms develop for a good portion of south central Texas. The good news is the threat is over once we get to tomorrow. So I want to show you while we're looking the 7-day forecast tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. Both Friday, Saturday, probably the best 2 days of fiesta until next week. So really, if you're going to get your fiesta on tomorrow and Saturday, Taste of New Orleans, Oyster Bake, a lot of great events. Those are the ones you want to be at because Saturday's going to be fabulous. But then the rain returns even as early as Saturday night. Even as early as Saturday night, we're going to be dealing with some rain. And then definitely Sunday, definitely Monday into Tuesday. I mean, a lot more rain. And this is indicating that we could be getting a lot in the gauge, and we need it. We need every drop. The aquifer's been dropping. We're in exceptional drought right now, and over the next 7 days, we're indicating at least 1.5 inches, 2 inches to 3 inches between now and next Thursday. now and next Thursday. All right, back to the live radar. We've got a flash flood warning and we've got a severe thunderstorm warning, both in effect for San Antonio. The severe thunderstorm warning set to expire at 7:45. The flash flood warning set to expire at 10 p.m. Looking for live reports. Damage threat is going to be considerable with winds at 60 miles per hour and nearly 2-inch diameter size hail in the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect for another 30 minutes. If you do want to see Western Bexar County, go to bearflood.org for what streets. But please, wherever you are right now, stay there. Stay there. There's no reason to be driving on the roads in San Antonio right now. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I can show, Jesse, maybe you can do it from in there. If we could show TransGuide and get an idea what we've got on area cameras and some live pictures from outside on our roads, I suggest you stay where you are. This is the most important thing I do at KENS 5 is keep you safe, keep your property and your family intact as we deal with this severe weather. And the most important thing to do right now is to stay where you are. This warning again on the flash flooding until 10 p.m., severe thunderstorm until 7:45. But I'm seeing signs that this thunderstorm is beginning to weaken. It's beginning to shrink just a little bit in size. And Jesse, if you can, from the control room, pop up TransGuide and we'll take a look at some live cameras here momentarily. You also see we're not alone. Flash flood warning across Bandera down almost to Medina Lake. There's 37 at Hackberry. Thank you, Jesse. You can also see 281 at 410. And the good news is I don't see many motorists, and that's good. Let's just sit tight until this passes through. Look at the ponding already there on 281 at San Pedro. You can also see it there. That's going to be 90 at Nogalitos. There's 281, 410 interchange. So again, please make sure you're staying safe and just staying put until this passes through. Notice that up across the north side, 281, it's diving south of Highway 46, what we want to maybe call the outer loop. You know, the inner loop 410, the outer loop 1604, the outer 46, and some of this rain diving south of there. So communities like Canyon Lake, you're not going to see much of this rain. New Braunfels, you might miss out on the heaviest of this rain and certainly the hail. The hail core at its best and at the largest is definitely in downtown. Boy, look at that ponding. A lot of heavy rain out there this afternoon. Up to 35,000 without power because of what we're dealing with right now. Is we've got a flash flood warning and we've also got a severe thunderstorm warning, both blanketing almost all of Bexar County. The exceptions are going to be from Lytle through Von Army, east to Elmendorf. You know, the southernmost portion of this, you're going to start getting heavier rain near Calaveras Lake here momentarily, as well as St. Hedwig. Looks like they may have just reconfigured that severe thunderstorm warning. Main threat on the Bexar County storm is flash flooding now. Okay, that coming in from the National Weather Service. The main threat now is flash flooding, not hail, and certainly nothing tornadic. Wind speeds are going to be running between 50 and 60 miles per hour in and around some of these cells at their worst, which is going to be downtown. But even that's beginning to go on the decline because the storm is beginning to weaken nicely. But it's still producing a tremendous amount of torrential rain, and that's going to be the biggest threat now is going to be the flooding, and that's why please stay where you are through at least 8 p.m., 8:30. And let's get this rain east, and let's get some of this water to recede, and then maybe some roads would be a little bit safer to drive. But considering that the front's coming through, I do want to give you this update too, is that we have, let's see, that's there, okay. Let's take a look at the hail tracker and what we're dealing with on the hail. Move this a little bit closer, sorry. Still a delay on the computer here. Okay, good news, look at that. Hail is already down to nickel size. Boy, we're right in the downtown area too. Columbia Heights, there's Phoenix. You're looking right there at Nacogdoches. There's Commerce. So yeah, you can see that's again, that aqua color is going to be nickel size hail. So very good news as this storm again starts to weaken just a bit. It is dangerous up here near College Station, Bryan. please make sure that if you've got a loved one at Texas A&M, they're aware of what's going on. All too often they're studying, they're streaming something, and they're not paying attention to the weather. Give them a phone call, text them. Hey, are you guys aware some dangerous storms are coming in to College Station? Please make sure, okay? Same at Austin. If you know somebody in the Austin area, it looks like it's north of the capital. Round Rock looks to get the most of it. But we've got developing storms near Johnson City. Looks like they'll trend. Remember, the mean flow is going to be northeast. That's why one of the things we look for in these storms is if they break off that mean flow, that means they're very, very dangerous, very dangerous. Again, look at that, right on top of San Antonio. Flash flood warning until 10 p.m. And it just got word from the National Weather Service. Instantaneous rainfall rates 5 to 7 inches per hour near and north of downtown. 5 to 7 inches per hour near and north of downtown right now. Tremendous, torrential rains. Wow. Hail is 1 inch at Leon Valley. That's going to size of the quarters there. So no tremendous amount of damage, but I'm so glad to hear that, because what we estimated was nearly tennis ball size hail at one point across the 151 and 1604 corridor. So I'm at least happy to hear that that's not been the case so far. 43 mile per hour wind gusts coming in from Lackland Air Force Base. 6 inch per hour rainfall rate. That's going to be up at Cedar Park in Travis County. But it's all part of the same outflow. So remember, as you move farther north and northwest, you're going to be along the cold front. Flooding in Leon Springs right now. We're getting some yard flooding in Leon Springs right now. So again, the warning area, the biggest concern with this storm right now is going to be flooding. Power outage map real quick, upwards of 35,000. Any update, David? 35,000 right now is the last number we've got on outages.
I see 32,000.
Oh, we're dropping a little bit. That's good news. 32,000. Thank you, David. Good news with that. But again, still I hate to say fluid situation, but that's really the case, because the flooding reports are going to come in. The power outages are going to come in. They'll start dropping now because that northwest part of the county is starting to see rain end, like around Helotes. Just going to text my wife and tell her, give her the all clear in Helotes. Sorry I can't be on the phone with you. I love you guys. Oh, wow. Audrey Casareno is sending in pictures. One of the events tonight was the Taste of the Republic at the Alamo. And the restaurants are doing their best to keep food cooked and serving the people that are there. God bless them down there at the Alamo and Taste of the Republic. God bless all the people that were down at Fiesta, that they made it home safely. Just pray that God protects them on their way home and where they are, that they just sit tight until this is over. The Fiesta Carnival was opening at 5. That's going to be at the Alamo Dome, which is right underneath the heaviest of the rain right now, and seeing the flooding. Because if we go in here tight, you can see right there at the Alamo Dome some of the heaviest rain. It's harder to see with all the lightning, but what a tremendous amount of lightning. Let's just give you the now and give you the heaviest rain pockets are over Wolf Stadium. Is that Hafer? It's going to be I-35, just inside 410. Berg's Mill, very heavy rain. Buena Vista starts lightening up. Von Army and Elmendorf now starting to get some of the heavier rain. La Soya, very light rain. Somerset, dry. But they're just inside. Okay, is that the new one? Okay. They just reconfigured that warning, it looks like. Okay. Mentioned that 43 mile per hour wind gusts clocked at Lackland Air Force Base. That's West San Antonio. That's the highest wind speed we've gotten in so far. But in and around those severe thunderstorms, you can see that once again. Okay, one of the things that I can do from this vantage point, if we do a slice and see, last check on this, we were pushing over 60,000 feet on that line. Let me zoom that out. Oh, that's good news. We're dropping. So we're estimating the height of the storm, which is always going to be a good indication as to just what kind of hail could be produced. You know, the higher that this storm builds, You're going into colder air. You're getting larger hailstones. What's the report from Danny?
Water rescue, but not serious.
Okay. Downtown?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Just talking about some water rescues from our assignment desk. All right. So that's a good indication there. The storm height dropping just enough that we can show an indication that the storm is weakening. The storm is weakening, but it's still very, very heavy rain. So now, as the hail core has disappeared, we can get a better and more accurate look at that. 8-inch per hour rainfall rate, 8-inch per hour. So what the Weather Service was actually estimating was 6 to 8. And this is now more accurate, especially since we've seen that the hail core has diminished just a bit. Remember, the impact areas: San Antonio, Church, Universal City, Live Oak, Selma, San Antonio International Airport, Stinson Airport, Randolph Air Force Base, Leon Valley, all in the polygon for flooding. Alamo Heights, Windcrest, Terrell Hills, Garden Ridge, Chavano Park, Hollywood Park, Cross Mountain, Olmos Park, even St. Hedwig in eastern Bexar County, all under the flash flood warning until 10 p.m. Good news is that the rain is letting up just enough across the areas west that we're hoping to see just enough of a break in time to get some of this water to recede. Severe thunderstorm warning into southern Bexar County extended a little farther south now. That polygon was redrawn to include communities farther south. That's going to be Stinson as this storm continues moving east at 25 miles per hour. Again, the hail has almost disappeared. I mean, we're not really looking at much more than, say, pea-size hail at this point, which is good news, but it is a flash flood threat. All right, until 7:45, severe thunderstorm warning. And that's going to be a rainfall rate, isn't it? Yeah, that's giving me some other. Okay. 51-mile-per-hour wind gusts at Lackland Air Force Base. 51 miles per hour. That's the highest now. Still shy of a severe thunderstorm wind speed of 55 plus. But we're beginning to see this storm weaken, which is good news. But now again, the major threat with this storm is going to be flooding through most of the San Antonio area, especially downtown. That's going to be the most dangerous spot, as this water is going to be diverted now. What's interesting, we actually have a tunnel down beneath our downtown, a tunnel that runs about 3 to 3.5 miles that diverts a lot of this water. Because remember, we are in a bowl. The Olmos Basin is the lowest portion of our city. And so as a tremendous amount of water comes into that area, it's diverted into a downtown tunnel so that it can avoid the downtown area. So we have an incredibly sophisticated system of diverting this water when it's coming down at 6 to 8 inches per hour. And you can drive tractor trailers through this tunnel. I mean, it's unbelievable, the size of it and the circumference of it. And when they put it in there and they have it, diverting that water, it's crucial that you'll never have downtown flood, because this water cannot get into downtown because of that tunnel system. It's so important. And of course, the Olmos Dam, back from the flood in the 20s, is when they constructed the dam to divert water from moving into downtown. Because again, from that Olmos Basin, the lowest portion of our city. All right, as far as KENS 5 television, Jesse, let's go ahead and wrap things up on television. For those of you who are interested in staying with us, I'm going to stay on live with Facebook, but we're going to go ahead and return to programming on KENS 5 television here. The warning continues until 7:45. We'll keep the crawl moving on the bottom of the screen, but we will definitely keep going here on Facebook. So if you want to jump over to Facebook from Ken's 5 Television, or you can at least have both. And of course, that means that you even have power. We're getting a power update here. This is the CPS Live outage map. And at last count, 32,000 customers, 32,000 households in San Antonio without power. Severe thunderstorm continues sweeping west to east at about 25 miles per hour. And again, we'll keep the crawl moving. A lot of hail coming in. Okay. Can start getting to some of y'all's questions on Facebook. Oh, sorry, Aiden. I know it, man. And I'm sorry to the Young Sheldon fans. I kind of squashed that show too. But remember, what's nice about CBS nowadays, you know, it used to just be one run and done back in the day when I started in this business. Now you can go to CBS.com and you can see these shows. You'll definitely see Young Sheldon. It'll be streamed if you missed tonight. Well, you did miss tonight's episode on Ken's 5.
David, did we ever have a weather tracker?
Weather tracker?
Did we ever have anything like that here? Clean or like a car that's without?
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of times that's Jack.
That's Jack.
He likes to
Jack Nicholson.
All right, so moving east,
the weather car and then what he'll do is
they're going to start reconfiguring. You can see they took out most of northern Bexar County from the warning polygon and have just really shrunk down the warning polygon sizes to indicate the affected areas. That's what I love about this. Remember, back in the day, it used to always be the entire county would be under the warning. It would just go county by county. I was in this business, you know, when that was the case, and you really didn't have a specific part of the county. I mean, you had to rely on us to tell you exactly where, but the polygon has really improved warning areas and showing you exactly where the concern spot is. So the flooding, that polygon is going to be up until 10 p.m. Now, it could be canceled if we start seeing water recede fast enough, but as this heavy rain continues in downtown, I don't see it being anytime soon that we're going to be able to do that, because there's still just, again, rainfall rates of 6 to 8 inches per hour, just too much to deal with in downtown San Antonio. And remember, a city our size and a tremendous amount of trash, it really floods quickly because of the impact on our drainage systems. It is remarkable just how much littering contributes to flooding. We could be a lot better off if people didn't litter as much as they did. And it's really a shame because there's so much debris and junk that the water rises fast because it cannot drain, because the drains are clogged. So that is part of the problem. Not to go on a public service announcement, but that's essentially a lot of the problem in this case. All right, so flash flood warning continues. Let me in fact zoom in so you can get that information. It's not going to switch off the severe thunderstorm warning. See what we're getting in from the chat. Castle Hills is getting some flash flooding. A lot of street flooding in Castle Hills, guys. I don't know if we got a camera roving. Penny to quarter size hail reported just west of downtown San Antonio.
You need batteries? Ray might be able to get you batteries.
I see batteries here. I just don't know if they're good.
Yeah, get me batteries.
Hey, Mary, now
Does someone need batteries?
I've got batteries here.
We got a whole bunch over here.
Yeah, we've got batteries for you.
Double A are right here in that box. Yep. How you doing, Ed? So the flash flood warnings let's take a look at this one in Bandera, give you some info on this guy. Till 9:15. We're looking at flooding in Bandera itself, but also Tarpley, Hill Country State Natural Area, Bandera Falls, Lake Hills, Pipe Creek, Gronkowski State Natural Area, Lake Medina Shores. All very beneficial rains over Medina Lake, Edwards Aquifer Recharge. And remember, this is all exceptional drought area. Let me show you something. Over the last 3 hours, we have gotten a tremendous amount of rain right where we need it, right on target. This is the latest drought report. This just came out today. They close the books on the data on Tuesdays, prepare the map on Wednesdays, release it on Thursdays as far as the time frame. So if you get any rain on a Wednesday, it's never on that next Thursday's report. They close it up on Tuesday. I don't know what time of day, but we didn't have any rain Tuesday. It doesn't really matter much. So yeah, this is very good. Very good rain right where we need it today. What a blessing this is. And you're looking at the worst drought condition in the state of Texas. This exceptional drought pocket has been the worst across all of Texas. I gotta try to lose some of this, don't I? Don't look. Stop. Don't look. Sun is out in Helotes. Thank you for the picture, my love. My wife just sent a picture in. I have to check the rain gauge at the Taylor compound, see how much we did get. Now let me show you moving forward, guys, what we're expecting tonight. Because remember that the front is still poised back to the north and west. So this cluster moving through now. And then there's the additional rains that develop along the front at 11 p.m. Now, the good news is we might not see severe. This is future radar now. We're looking at future radar tonight at 11, and we still have some storms expected to develop over Bernie, east to San Marcos, and it's right along the front, right out ahead of the front. Now, those of you west of, say, Hondo, not going to see any of this rain. But the good news is that these thunderstorms are not expected to be severe. That's why the severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 p.m., and it might even be reconfigured or retimed, if you will, because of what we saw already. And the thunderstorms that developed and we're still dealing with right now, those will kind of zap the atmosphere of a lot of its energy. And so what we've built up with the good heating of the day, that all comes down a bit. That all, the atmosphere stabilizes a little bit. It cools a little bit. And so that helps reduce the risk of strong to severe storms along the front as the front drops in tonight. But either way, midnight, we've got an isolated cell right on top of the city, so we're going to have to watch that. Then another one just near Seguin, that's going to be St. Hedwig, into northern Wilson County at 1 in the morning and out of the area by 2:30. Some residual showers right into about sunrise tomorrow. And then look at that, another little impulse up through noon. Interesting. That's new. And then clearing. Windy day tomorrow. In fact, let me just show you future winds now. That we're expecting a breezy Friday. North winds will be moving pretty good. Look at that. Gusting between 20 and 25. Straight out of the north. Then they return to an east-southeast flow as early as Saturday. So that means we're going to start replenishing all the moisture that we rained out today and tonight and set up the next chance of rain come Saturday night and Sunday. So that's just something to keep in mind as we get closer to the weekend. I definitely think that the best fiesta days are going to be Friday, Saturday, it looks like. Still a strong cluster of thunderstorm activity with a very impressive cluster of lightning. All right. Remember when I say when thunder roars, get indoors. Let me show you something. Miles away from the rain. Look right there. Poteet, Texas. Just north of Pleasanton. That thunderbolt right there. It's not even raining. This is why when you hear thunder, lightning can strike where you're standing. because you can probably hear the thunder in South Bexar County, where I'm putting that point of that arrow. And you think, oh, no big deal. Look at that. That is lightning right there. You can see it. That is lightning without rain. And so please, when thunder roars, get indoors. If there's any, I mean, I hate when I see soccer games, baseball games, football games. They'll continue because of the fact that it's not raining and they're hearing thunder and they'll all stay out there. This can happen. So please take every precaution. When thunder roars, get indoors. I'm off my soapbox. But lightning is deadly. Don't underestimate lightning.
I was gonna say, do we get a lot of participation in that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Some rain starting to intensify a little bit. It's Seguin and Luling right now. Nothing severe, but those thunderstorms are beginning to build a little bit off along the I-10 corridor east. All right, I'm going to keep this up. Take a little break right now. Severe thunderstorm warning should be expiring in the next 5 to 10 minutes. As we see this rain now, the biggest threat with this is going to be the flooding. And we're starting to get some pictures in from what I'm hearing on the assignment desk that are going to go up on kens5.com, David. As soon as we can get them in and we can verify them. That's always the most important part of what David Lynch and our digital team does, make sure that these pictures are legit before we ever put them on our website. All right, God bless y'all. I'll be back in touch. I will leave this radar up for you and be back.